Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. I'm sure right now, because we're live, you're watching it live right now, but go watch this later. Uh-oh, phone's ringing. Let's turn that off. And it is Beard 30. What's up, brothers? Keeping it real. How's it going? Let's put that pop-up chat right over here. That way I can keep an eye on you guys. So TGIF. Tonight, I got some beers to crack as always to have a little fun, to go over a couple cool topics tonight, and as always, just have a good time. That's what we do on Common Sense Fishing here. So also wanted to let you guys know over on my Facebook page, Bass Fishing Lovers, we have a little raffle going on kind of to help the toy drive. So Real-Time Bassin or Virgil basically donated all this cool stuff to us to help generate, stuff for the toy drive. So what we're doing is we're doing 25 spots, $10 a spot, like raffle tickets. We're going to enter them on the wheel of names, and we're going to go ahead and spin it and have two winners. One guy gets the reel, other guy or gal, and the other guy or gal gets the lure. So gonna have a good time. Gonna do that. Wanted to talk about let's see here. I think it was we're doing, man, I forgot what we titled this because I was gonna be doing, I think, two tips. We're doing how to get your PB, and then I think another different tip or trick I had planned out for tonight, but I got burned out and just forgot. Because I just tell you guys the honest stuff that I know that I can tell you from the top of my mind, How's it going, Jay Carr? Nice to see you guys. What's going on? What's up? Finally, you're here early, huh? Thank you guys for watching. Got a slow start to the night. Just jumped on, so I was like a minute late, but how's it going, Danny's Kitchen? So we have the reels are on order. There should be here Monday, going out to RC Creative and UN Kennedy, the latest two winners. If you didn't watch or caught it last time, Jeff Garcia, stupid butt here. Jeff Garcia Sr. won a autographed Giants rookie ball. So had a great time last night, or not last night, but the night before last. We had a lot of fun. So, man, I got burned out just now. Sorry about that, folks. Anyways, again, want to talk about how to get your PB, how to get your big fish, and like some shore fishing tips and tricks, because I might be shore fishing for another week or so. We're trying to get the boat fixed ASAP, so working on trying to get a mechanic, so it's like trying to see when I can get squeezed in, and I might just change the prop out myself, just say screw it, so I can just keep fishing. But the thing is I want to have everything analyzed after hitting like that. I checked the bottom, there's nothing, but I'm talking about like the shaft and everything else. I want to make sure that I want to make sure, yeah, that's empty. I want to make sure that like there's no vibrations or nothing's bent or out of whack that needs to be fixed before it causes worse damage. So I'm pretty sure everything's fine, but even then, I want to get my live well fixed so I can get back into tournaments. I want to start getting out there and sticking some tournaments and go into some full-on circuits so that I can shoot for Angler of the Year, the Classics, all that good stuff. Take you guys along. Maybe we'll run a gambit through the Future Pro Tour, and maybe one through like BBT or something like that. So we'll see how it goes depending on like the drought. I think a lot of circuits are going to be fishing out of the Delta this year. So when the lakes get real low like this, a lot of guys, circuits, they head out to the Delta. Anyways, why am I in my tank top? Just so you guys know, I had a brutal day. I do air conditioning. It was 106 or like 108 today, and super, super crazy, brutal hot. I had to do a job in an attic, change out a valve. I was stuck in an attic for quite some time. Another company had really butchered and brutalized a job. I had to kind of fix it up a bit and do the best that I could with it. And I did a pretty dang good job, if I do say so myself. And I also had to, like I said, change a valve out, and the attic was probably like 160. So I took like 2 showers today. I'm just like chill. I'm like, man, I came home and I'm just do 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 do. So hope you guys don't mind. But go over some fishing tactics tonight. I want to try to help put you guys on some PBs, some big fish, how to break down a lake, basically, especially right now. So we can kind of find ourselves in a unique year. And one thing I'm kind of dreading, I don't know about you guys, but I am not looking forward to any fires. Oh, hell no. The smoke last year was brutal. I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a couple fishing trips where in order to go fishing, I had to wear an N95 mask. It was raining ash everywhere. I think that last year really damaged my lungs, man. I went a lot of fishing in that smoke and ash too, where I shouldn't have. And it was still 100-degree days, but where you couldn't see halfway, across the pond, it was all like shadowy and dark. You couldn't even, it was so nuts. It was like, what the hell? There were a couple of days where it was really bad. So I'm not looking forward to that this year. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it, but it's kind of become a reality. So I would make sure, I don't know. I'm gonna have an air purifier prepared in my house this year. I'm done with that shit. Make sure too, with all this corona, we better make sure, having all these masks is gonna help when this ash comes. So, from all the fires, it's just hopefully we don't deal with it, but it's going to be a unique year. I expect, going to get out there hopefully and run some circuits and then fish some new water. I want to get out and fish some other lakes you guys have seen me out before, but that I don't get out too often, or more of, Clear Lake, Berryessa, a couple others. I don't think you guys have ever seen me at Berryessa. I've been there, but don't have it on GoPro. So that was all years ago. But I'm excited. We're going to bring a lot of cool new stuff. So like I said, we're working on getting all the audio and video upgraded here in the next couple months. One thing at a time. I got the Hero 9. This month I'm going to be getting the next Hero 9, so I'll have 2. And then I think we're going to get some kind of live stream set up where we're going to do the audio is going to run right into the computer, and then the video is going to come from the actual different device. And we're going to get something with higher resolution. And I don't know if there's any lag, if it has to do with the is it the computer? Is it should I run? I also have a streaming program, so I'm going to look into this. That way I can get some just higher quality stuff for you guys, because I appreciate you guys. So the more members we get, the more subscribers we get, it all helps a little bit, because I don't expect to get any money from this, right? So every once in a while I'll get like 80 to 100 bucks a month, right? They'll deposit it in my account. So I'll take that and I'll use that to buy little things that can help the channel. Everything goes right back into the channel, plus I invest, spend a ton of my own money, but basically just go out and fish and then like to record my episodes, right? But particularly for the channel, I want to upgrade the audio. I want to upgrade everything so that the connection's better, So appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. So I got the best community here. Did a lot of posting. I put out a post today about the toy drive, and about how last year we took care of over 200 kids thanks to you guys, Facebook, YouTube, all you guys combined, Common Sense Fishing community. It's been pretty awesome. So I want to say a big shout out. Thank you guys. And let's go ahead and get into the first topic. And then if if you guys, again, you guys know how it goes. If you guys got any comments, anything you want to say, drop it in the box. I'll be glad to read your guys' comments and engage with you. But the first big thing I wanted to talk about was kind of how to get your PB, how to break out of catching little fish, if that's all you're doing. For first of all, what I would recommend doing is just analyze what are you currently doing and where are you currently fishing, right? So are you stuck in the same lake? Are you fishing all kinds of different lakes and not fishing the same lake a little bit? Um, what kind of lures are you using? Are you power fishing constantly, or are you drop shotting and finesse fishing constantly? Because I'll get guys that be like, yeah, I throw a jerk bait or I threw this and that, and I didn't get them all day. I can only get them on a drop shot, or I can only get them on this. And it's like, but did you try this, this, or that? And like, no. And so like, yeah, so you want to make sure you try to read the situation, because right now, I don't know if a lot of guys are struggling, but right now in most lakes and most places, you can catch 100+ fish days all throughout the summer, fall. There's going to be some really good days to be had out there. If you can tolerate being on the water, you're going to have 50 to 100 fish days or even more. So shout out to the Buffaloes. They had like 130 fish day today. So, that's a good example of it right there. You can get out there, read the bite. Sometimes you have to drop shot for a little bit. Sometimes you might have to Ned rig. They may lift up and then soft jerk bait, plastic jerk bait, or you might have to go to a real jerk bait, LV 500, a top water, different, and cycle through different lures at different times as the bass change or as they move from one location to the next, or they move from this transition to that, or you know what I mean, depending on what they're doing. So each lake's different, but the cool thing is like, if you really want to get a big fish, just analyze what you're doing. If you're not getting, so let's say you're catching 3s and 4s and you want that 6, 7, 8, you want that double digit. Well, what are you doing to get these 3s and 4s? Are you constantly pond fishing? Are you river fishing or something? Are you stuck in littler water? Are you fishing smaller lakes? Are you in the bigger lakes but throwing things like a Senko or a drop shot or a Ned rig? Then there's some things to be analyzed, because if you can switch over to top water, over to jigs, and for your bottom bouncer, I'd recommend switching to jigs. So if you get in that mood where you think you have to get all finesse, just drop every dang lure you've got and go to the jig, and then figure out how can you get them to bite on the jig. Do you have to dead stick the jig? Do you have to drag the jig, or do you have to lightly hop it, or can you pop it violently or almost swim it, right? So there's a lot of different ways to work the jig, and there's a lot of different ways to get a bass to strike a jig that may have really wanted a drop shot or a Ned rig, or that you might have caught that way. But when there's 4 or 5 of them down there, you'll get the big fish to eat that jig a lot of time. So, you know, if you're struggling to put big fish in and you're doing a lot of damage with the bottom bouncer, first recommendation, go to the jig. Second is if you're constantly bottom fishing, second tip would be move to the surface and subsurface. Start fishing suspended and top water. Learn how to, and a great lure to start is a whopper plopper or choppo. Berkeley choppo or a whopper plopper. Great, just cast the dang lure out and then slowly reel it in, or fast reel it in, or maybe do some change ups, right? Slow, fast, or stop, go, stop, go. Couple different things you can do with that as well. You can even pop it kind of like a popper. So a perfect one to start out with, and then you can work on lures that walk the dog lures, vixens, spooks, the Sammy, stuff like that, or frogs, all that good stuff, right? So, and then subsurface, so like a swim bait, which I'm not a master of. However, my power weapon would be a crankbait, right? Deep diving crankbait, square bill crankbait, medium diving crankbait. I've got a double digit now on a deep diving crank and a square bill crankbait. So they really kick kick out some big fish. Lots of 8s and 7s and all kinds of other fish. Crankbaits are one of my favorite ways to get some big fish. It's like a little cheater swim bait. So you can cast it and reel it, and it's not this giant lure that kind of scares you. But in all reality, the bait still, especially if you count the bill, I mean the bait's, good 2.5 inches with the hooks. This is a big moving, and it's throwing water, swimming through the water. It's making a good little disturbance, and they get crushed. They're like finesse swim baits in a way, if you want to think of it, right? You can use these giant swim baits to and their action though too, like the wobble is real important, knowing what kind of wobble to have, tight or wide wobble. But anyways, like a big swim bait, right? I'm not a big swim bait dude. I don't know much about them, but I know they catch big fish. So for me, I'd use, a bigger crankbait or square bill and the larger size, or like I said, a deep diving crank, something like that, or a big spinner bait. So a big spinner bait, and I'd put maybe even a paddle tail back in the days, right? A big old boot tail, paddle tail, whatever, like the precursor to a Kitech, and put those on. I used to do that when the skirt would fall apart. I had a favorite spinnerbait that I loved the blades and I loved the combination in the head and the weight. And if I lost the skirt, I'd usually put a curly tail rubber worm on there, or either a swim bait, and just stroke them like that. So, those type of lures though are how you catch big fish. That's like hands down. You can catch big fish drop shotting, Ned rigging, and like Cincoing and stuff like that. But you truly want a giant. And then here's the deal, where a lot of guys, how's it going? Slee the rookie in the house, what's happening? So if you truly want to get a giant, a lot of guys do it in the spawn, where it's like they hunt the fish and you go find it. And then when you find it, you know that you got to figure out what it takes to get it to strike. A HUD, a swim bait, an A-rig, or is it a little dinky little drop shot or whatever. But once you get the fish, it's your job to land it and get it, right? But that's how a lot of double digits are caught around spawn. They're caught in that area. However, there's a good number of monsters that get caught. In my opinion, it's almost like luck the way we get them, but in the summer and fall, and even some in the winter, but a lot in the summer. And my double digits almost all came in the summer. And so fish are active. Those giants, they need to eat a lot to stay alive and stay healthy for long and live long, healthy lives, right? So when you're 10-pound fish, you're eating trout. And if there's not a bunch of trout, you're eating whatever big bait fish there is, or crawdads or anything and everything. You're smart how you do it and where you go and what you approach, in a sense, right? I'd assume these 10-pounders are, but they've got to eat. So every day, probably every other day, they're out there cracking a big meal, or even multiple times in a day they're eating. My 10-pounder, big old giant stomachs, so they're full, yet they still wanted to eat, especially with like a jig in their face, because they're opportunistic. If a big old crawdad plops in front of this 10-pounder's face, he's probably going to pick it up, but you got to land it, right? So, all right, for sure. Yeah, I got a buddy. I got to hook him up. We're doing that little bass fishing lovers raffle for the reel and stuff. So, got to get a little spot taken care of here in a second. But hope you guys enjoyed today's show or tonight's show. Smash that like button if you get a chance. Thanks for watching. So, just kind of want to help out, do some, some little helping, I guess, to the fishing community on a way to catch your PB if you're kind of struggling getting something over 5. I highly recommend a square bill. You can start with Strike Kings if you want to save money and throw them and not be afraid to lose them, and then graduate to the my favorite ones are the Ish Monroe square bills, River to Sea, Biggie Papa, and Smalls. You got the bumping and you got the rattling. So they're silent, and there's a lot of different versions. So there's two sizes, and then in each size you've got a silent versus a rattling one, and then many different colors and designs. And my favorites are Delta Crawl, Cold Blooded. I don't see Crackle anymore, but that was one of my favorites. So there's a bluegill pattern I really like. But if I can't stress it enough. If you really want a big fish, start throwing some crankbaits. You'd thank me later, trust me. Even in these big lakes, throw some deep divers. Hey, how's it going, pal? I'm here. Nice to see you on the show. Thanks, everybody. So, we do the toy drive. That's how we roll here. We're going to be trying to take care of as many kids as we can this year. So, one of the unfortunate things is people don't take Christmas very seriously this time of year. But the thing is come Christmas, when people start thinking about it and it even starts going through their head, it's already too cold in a lot of places, or a lot of people are already like that may have wanted to donate or go. They're already like, well, I'm not sure. So like what I do is I start my little my donation toy drive thing somewhere usually in between April and May or June, and fish through post spawn into summer, and then all fall and all that, even all the way up into right before Christmas. However, you only get the diehards that really want to go out. November and December is a kind of slow month. So that's usually taking care of all the presents, wrapping things up. We get hooked up with like Salvation Army and a bunch of other cool stuff. So and we, take care of. I did the wife's like classroom, a couple of her teachers' classrooms. We did the Winton Community Center. We did like the Salvation Army. I don't know. It was 200 kids we counted at the end of the year. We didn't even think we did that many. We thought we did maybe 50 or 60, but we went and we counted every child individually. It was over 200 children. We were mind blown. Like, whoa, didn't realize we did that. It was actually super cool. So hoping this year we can smash that record. So thanks for watching. So if you guys can, smash that like button. But this is the Common Sense Fishing live stream, where we hang out, we have a good time, we talk about fishing, all kinds of other stuff, and we definitely go down rabbit holes, and we have all kinds of fun here. So thank you guys for watching TGIF. I hope you guys have a great Friday. Stay safe this weekend too. So smash that like button if you guys get a chance to. And remember, definitely no drinking and driving. Take care of yourselves. Have a fun one this weekend. But yeah, stay safe wherever you're doing this weekend, because I think I'm probably going to be working. It's going to be in the hundreds. My specialty is HVAC. So Saturday is like an emergency day. So I'll probably set 2 or 3 calls up. I might go fishing at night. So again, I'm also trying to figure out how the hell am I going to get my boat fixed. I got to have the mechanic look at that. So fun times, always fun times. But you know what? When life gives you lemons, you just make lemonade. When it punches, you punch back. Salud and cheers, everybody. Got my ice chest too right here. Bam. That way I can re-up. Only got a 6-pack though, so I'm already 2 down. That means I got, what, like 4 left? No. Bam. Thanks to old Vince right there, Virgil. What happened to the boat? Oh, I hit an island at the Delta and destroyed my prop. Busted one prop. My prop has 3. It busted one of them like nearly in half. Excuse me. And the like stabilizer bar or whatever, or forget what it's called, the fin thing that goes right below everything, that's at like a 45-degree angle. Well, that has a major piece blown out the front like this, and then it's grinded down a bit, but it's not too bad. And there's nothing inside like where you can get water into any of the oil or none of the engine is compromised, thank goodness. So it looks like it's just prop damage and a little bit of cosmetic that's like very ugly. But hopefully that's all it is. Now, originally the live well pump went out, so that's why I couldn't tournament fish. So we're going to get that fixed, hopefully everything at the same time. So I have a prop, so I just want to see if he'll change it out for me and then I want to get the live well fixed and a couple other little things fixed as well. And also I need to get a seat put on there, so we'll see if he has one of those. Yada yada. Gonna be a good, gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll be out soon, real quick. It was just at the Delta, and I smacked the island going about 20, 25, maybe 30 tops. I was a little suspicious, so I wasn't smashing too much. And I was on plane, thank God, so I wasn't dug down too bad. And it is what it is, a learning lesson too. So, but I know now to look at my cell phone map before I go into certain areas. It'll actually show you any of the land, and you'll see it, and you'll be like, it'll be underwater, but you'll know it's there. You'll be like, ha ha ha. And then as you get it close, it looks like a weed patch or something. And you're like, nah, sucker, I know that's not a weed patch. And then if you pull close, sure enough, it'll be a big old little island, and it'll be a foot underwater, on like medium tide. High tide, and you can barely even see it, smash right over it. Medium tide, smash right into it, or clip But low tide, it'll basically be sticking out of the water. You hit it, you're in real bad trouble. You know what I mean? Like to take to KBR, yeah, get a kayak for the backup. Well, no more KBR for now, folks. I don't have the money to re-enlist $2,500, and I'm a small business owner, and I didn't get any PPP help. I didn't get any loans. I haven't got any kind of financial assistance because of the timing. I started my business January 1st, 2020, and the pandemic hit. They officially say it hit, like, was it in March or something, was when they declared everything. But when they went back, they went back and said, if your business was established before January like 20th of 2020, then you're good. And it was January 1st. But what got me every time is when I applied and I tried to, they wanted to see the year before's finances, or like how much money I made. And I tried to explain that, like, I took my life savings in my 401k and put everything into this business January 1st. And then as I'm getting everything prepped, right? So I'm dumping all my money into this. So I'm spending all this money, but I can't make any money yet. And I got to get licensed. I got to pass all these tests, and they're all scheduled for like March. And as soon as March comes, I get a notification that everything's been pushed until July. And I do heating and air. So I'm like, oh shit, so now I'm sweating balls. Like, I just put all my life's money into this, and I have no work now for 6 months. And then come July, they pushed it again. And they did not let me until like September. So it was a pretty tough ride, but right now I don't have the money to. 2,500 is too much for me. I can't do it this year. So lucky I did it last year. I'm glad I was able to. So with the toy drive stuff, mostly we're going to the Delta, Don Pedro, McClure, New Maloney's. But I also want to run to like Clear Lake, Eastman, Moore, Hensley, Berryessa, stuff like that. So we're going to be doing some cool stuff around the channel, fishing a lot of cool different places. No, they didn't sell the property though. It's still there. So it just, like I said, can't afford it right now. I gotta struggle. I gotta focus on my job, my family, and I like doing this YouTube thing here. So I'm gonna focus on putting a little money into this and you guys into a little better setup. So the props behind me are cool, wonderful, but I think I'm going to reorganize stuff a bit. Like I said, get some better equipment, so audio, visual, be, hopefully you guys smash that like button for me. Really appreciate it. If you're new here, make sure you're subscribed. We do lots of giveaways, have a lot of fun here. So, but tonight we wanted to talk about how to get your personal best, and then also, if I remember correctly, we were on uh, goodness. We were going to be going over for something else, but I don't know if maybe what we should do is go over Friday, because I'm kind of musical. I like doing fun stuff, or either Freaky Fridays too. I've told some fun tales about being we've had some mountain lion run-ins. We've had a lot of cool stuff. And oh, cool. So we've had a lot of crazy things happen to TGIF live stream. So thanks for watching. It's a Friday. We do these. Sometimes I pop in on the odd Tuesdays, Thursdays, or even on the weekends for you guys and gals. But usually I'm uploading videos whenever I can, fishing stuff, the banana on the Delta, just fun fishing trips, or I'm trying to break stuff down for you guys. Now, before I do a breakdown, because what I really want to do as well is I want to do a trifecta on the mother lode. I want to break down McClure, Don Pedro, and Maloney's for the best of my ability for you guys before the year's up, and kind of want to do an overall breakdown on each lake for all conditions: high lake level, low lake level rising, lake level dropping, clear water, dirty water, wind, calm, winter, summer, fall, spring kind of thing. And just focus lake at a time, cover it extensively, and then move on to each one. But before I do that, I need to get out there, have my boat fixed. I need to get back on the water, put some time in to make sure I have the footage to match what I'm going to be showing. Is okay, well, this is where I run here and there, and it don't mean I'm right. It just how I fish, right? How I break the lakes down, or what I do. So take you along for some fun rides. What's my top 3 lakes in the Valley Mother Lode areas? If you're wanting top 3 lakes for big bass, I would say Eastman, Don Pedro, and New Maloney's would be my 3. Although I've got a double digit out of McClure, and so does my buddy, and there's a 13-pounder out of McClure. I know McClure has the big monsters. They're smart and they're harder to catch, though. So McClure would be a toss-up between Eastman, because sometimes Eastman gets extremely frustrating when it's low and when it has too much of an algae bloom. And Eastman gets beat up brutally sometimes. What it was 20 years ago, though, when they first reopened it, though, Eastman would have blown all of the lakes up combined. When Eastman was shut down and cleaned from when they had the invasive plant species there, and then they reopened it, I also got a double digit out of Eastman on a topwater. So I don't really count that as one. It was when I was a kid, but it was one of the biggest fish I've ever caught, around 12 pounds, 11 pounds, but I don't have a scale. So you can't really say, right? But even to this day, I could only equate this fish's mouth to basically the size of like a 5-gallon bucket almost. It was so huge. It was just a monstrous mass. I'm sure it wasn't that big, but that's what it seemed to me. But out some beasts for me, for some friends. But that's funny. I've never caught a double digit out of Eastman, but I've got one out of McClure and Pedro. So, well, actually, I do. I take that back. I do. I've got my double digit out of Eastman. So, I don't know. I got the one as a youth, but I've got one later on in the days too. But that one was like a It's a funny story. I'll tell you guys one day about that one. How would you fish Folsom Lake right now with the low water? Oh man, with the low water, depending on how low it is, I like to go if there's as far north as I can. If there's any incoming water, I'd like to get close to that, the fresh incoming water. But when number one tip or trick I could tell you guys is when a lake is dropping, fish pull out. So what you want to do is find deeper water, just steeper shoreline. You want to find shade lines. You want to find places where you can throw, top water is real key right now. You can throw A-rigs, and also you need to adjust your game too, right? So in the morning, you may start with top water and then move to a jerk bait or a deep diving crank or something. Then you may go Ned rig biter or whatever, and then you may have to drop shot in 30, 25 to 40 feet, whatever. Then you go to a spoon or a LV, using your graph and finding the fish on the graph and knowing how to pick them off, right? Depending on what kind of graph you got, live scope, do you got, just regular, like how to identify and know, what's what down there. That's, it all plays together in having a successful day out on the water. But number one rule is just get out there and fish, man. You're not going to catch nothing if you're not fishing. So I've caught a ton of big fish just fishing from shore. You don't have to have a boat, And how would I fish Folsom right now? I would fish it with a weightless Senko probably or a Nico rig. So I get it down a little bit faster. And I'd probably start in like right up on shore, and I would work my way down to about 30, 40 feet at the most. I would also depending on lake level, I would go to the back marina where the houseboats are at in it, and there's all the big riprap. And as the lake level lowers and raises, the up and down. And then there's a big bar, like a big riprap bar that goes out along it, out in front of it. And this time of year when it's brutal tough. So all right, let's see what we got here. Night fishing, most part, McClure is tough for me. Lots of dinks. Eastman is frustrating, but it can be real good. Yeah. Pedro is probably big fish city, Pedro has a lot of big fish, like a lot. Pedro has lots of big fish. I mean, numbers of double digits. Not McClure does too, but they're hard to catch, and they're smart. They're trout eaters. They go swimming off underneath houseboats. They hide under random shit. They're under buoys and weird shit. They do some weird stuff. They're hard as hell to catch unless you know how to and it's hard. Like I really wanted to go do it, but I didn't. But if you really want a big fish hunt at McClure, all you got to do is just take something like a jerk bait or a swim bait and go along houseboats in this heat right now and throw lures along the houseboats that don't have people in them, that aren't partying and stuff. And then also, if you see a grouping of houseboats, so say you have a bay and you have a bunch of houseboats, right? What you want to do is fish the first houseboats furthest out, especially if you have like a wind-blown point or something. First one's out, the furthest one's out. So if there's trout, if there's anything swimming, and these houseboats are out over 200-300 feet of water, and everybody's bass fishing the shore here, you can be out over these houseboats throwing swim baits at them. And there'll be monster bass that are sitting under them. And you can throw swim baits. Now, again, I'm not a big swim bait pro, so what would I throw? I'd throw a jerk bait. I'd throw a weightless Senko. I'd throw totter. I'd throw some crankbaits along the side of those houseboats. That's what I do. Same results usually. Big fish comes out and pow, jacks your shit up. So it happens all the time. Me and my buddies are used to, we do it all the time at McClure. And one of the best ways is at like Barrett's Cove. That's the best practice spot because we used to fish only from shore. So we couldn't do the houseboat stuff. So we just sit and constantly fish the edges of lakes. And sure enough, big monster bass will come out and hammer your lures while other guys are struggling catching all the dinks and all that direct sunlight while underneath the docks at Barrett's, or they're underneath the houseboats, or they're chilling under weird things like cables, buoys, and then, or just steep, crazy stuff where they can vertically change and move. They go to some weird shit there, and they can be tough to catch. Oh, what's going on? Oh, what's the PayPal account for the raffle? It's my name and my number. So I think you have my cell phone number. So just type in my cell phone number and my name. So you should have it. And if not, I'll Facebook it to you, boss. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting. So if you guys didn't know, over on the channel, we're doing a raffle where we have this SLX reel. We have this reel. And then we have some lures. And we're going to give them away for a chance. Well, not for a chance, but we're going to give them away. But what we're doing is there's 25 spots, and each spot's $10. So that's $250 total. But you basically could win a $100 plus reel for $10, or you could win, $40 worth of lures for $10. So it just depends. Plus, it goes to help a good cause. So what we're going to do is go buy more toys for the kids for Christmas stuff. That's exactly what it's going to go for. So we hit Ross up, got a ton of toys. We went over to Walmart, picked up like 5 bikes. Next stop is we got to buy some like kid toys. I noticed last year is great. There were gift cards is probably what I'm gonna end up doing. They can buy what they want as long as it's not drugs, right? For the boys, they wanted like excuse me, they wanted kind of similar stuff, but for guys, when they got older, right, it was just like what they wanted, is they don't play with toys, you know what I mean? So I'll buy a few things for the more, but most of this is about the younger kids anyways. But I don't want a kid who's 16 to feel left out if they're dirt poor and have no Christmas, and it's a 13 and a 10 and a 5-year-old, but here's a 17, 16-year-old don't get nothing. No, that ain't how I roll. So I get them something, but I don't buy it too much. So I usually get tablets, stuff like that. But I need to get a lot of teenager toys too right now, or teenager stuff like things that, teenagers and younger kids that are like 8 to 10. So I'm going to go like on a shopping spree, probably at a Walmart again or Target. You go check those places out. I go online, try to find deals too. But the one thing I don't want to be is a Scrooge McDuck about stuff and go and like buy a bunch of like clearance crap that's like been returned and broken and shit, and be like the Christmas movie, where they send out, or when they make everything on the assembly line and they send it out and it all breaks on the kids and they all cry and throw it in the trash, and then all the trash pieces go back to the North Pole through the fireplace, like So anyways, let's ask some more questions. Facebook, please. All right, I got you, boss. What's your top 3 summer baits lures? I would have to say my top 3 summer bait lures are going to be a top water, and for simplicity's sake is probably going to be like a whopper plopper, because I like throwing a walking bait, but I'll be very honest with you guys, I do it on a spinning reel or spinning setup. I can't do it on a bait caster because of the hand that I reel with and the hand that it takes to do the jerking action. My left hand isn't like the muscle memory, it's not there. I fish power with my right hand and I fish finesse with my left, right? So like when I reel, it's with my right hand. When in finesse fishing, it's vice versa. But when I'm throwing a top water like a bait caster and that fine Motor skill movement, I have to do it on a spinning and it works perfect. I can work a walking bait like a champ, like really good. But on a bait caster, it's all about the action. So if you throw the lure and your action sucks, you're not going to get bit. You got to have the timing and everything down. Your stuff's got to be the right gear. Your line's got to be right. So anyways, for simplicity's sakes, I like a whopper, a plopper, something like that. Top water. Second would be a jig. If I want a bottom bounce, I want a jig. Now, third is going to probably be some form of crankbait. It depends, right? So if I'm fishing the McClure Don Pedro, I want to, New Maloney's, I want a deeper diving, medium diving crankbait. If I'm fishing the Delta, I want a square bill. And even McClure or New Maloney's or Don Pedro, I still want a square bill a lot of times too for when the fish are in that few feet of water. I can launch that lure freaking seems like a ball field in front of me and slow retrieve it in a foot of water and crank and bump off of every rock. And now there's no fish known to God that I've ever seen tell that crankbait no, dang near, when it goes by nice and slow like that, bumping on everything. Oh, just music to my ears. So those three lures right there would probably be my go-to in the situation. Now, each time of year, and if you're asking me day or night, those would change. Right? Exactly. So it depends on your action, right? Like how you like to work your lure. And so if a bait caster, I like something I can just kind of reel and occasionally twitch or just move like a square bill or a crankbait. What I could do is I could just speed up my reeling. I don't have to do this. I could just, and then the lure comes in faster, right? And I can do some erratic moments, or I like just bottom bouncing where I twitch. It's my power, so I'm cranking with my right, so I'm right. So a bait caster is like my jig, my cranking for a crankbaiting, or like power fishing, right? My where I have a great casting control, where my right is my power, but it has the ability to like do finesse all day, or it can fine tune, right? And this is just my blah blah reeling hand. Well, I can really walk a bait really good with my right hand. So yeah, a spinning rod. It's weird. It's crazy. And then you would say, well, why not use a what do you call it, a lefty bait caster? Because I have to reel right with a bait caster and left with spinning. It's weird, but it's how it is. So yeah, you just asked that. Yeah, and I can't do it. It's something about holding the pole upside down. It's the way that I'm holding it and reeling it versus the way that the way it rests in your hand. So when I'm holding the spinning and I reel, if I was holding an upside down bait caster, it feels different. I don't know. It's hard to explain. So yeah, I don't know. I've tried it and it's super uncomfortable. But then when I take a left hand spinning rod setup, it's just magic. I know there's a lot of guys out there like it's like goofy foot. It's like skating goofy foot. That's how I skateboard. For those of you who don't know, I also used to skateboard. I can still kind of like I can ollie, I can do like 180s, I can heel flip a little bit or kick flip a little bit. So old fat man can still move around a little. But I ain't getting on no ramp though. I'll bust my ass. You grew up using spinning reel and always reeled in with my left and would use right-handed bait caster. I switched to left-hand retrieve and had way more control. Yeah, I can't do it. I tried. It's super weird. I'll try it again now maybe, but I did try it back in the days a long time ago and I had no luck with it. No, it's cool. Let them laugh at you. I tell you what, that's how I used to be too. I'll tell you right now that about 7 years ago was the first bait caster I probably ever really had. I had one a long time ago and hated it with a passion and wouldn't use it. And I was so frustrated on it. I actually did not. I've been fishing for 30 years, and 23 of those I would refuse to use a bait caster. It was always spinning. So I mastered spinning reels. Like I know how you get backlash in your spinning reel. I know how you get line twist. I know how to fix most problems. I can walk, precision cast with a bait with a spinning rod. I can put my lure literally like in a shot glass. With a bait caster, I can put it within a couple feet, or a foot or two. Like I can put it real close, but nowhere near the spinning rod level skill, even to this day, not even close. So, and for some guys, it's opposite, but I'm still like that. And it's crazy though. I don't fish with a spinning rod much anymore. Almost everything I do now is bait caster. However, still to this day, if I pick up certain techniques, that will always be on spinning rods, drop shots, almost all Ned rigs, certain finesse setups, and also any walk the dog topwater type. I always have a medium heavy spinning rod that I'll use for topwater and for jigs and like certain things that I need a little backbone with. And it'll be my multi-purpose, like a finesse jig or something. So I want to stick fish with it if I need a weed guard, like a weed jig, or I'm using something a little heavy that I'm going to be setting the hook with, and I'm not quite on a bait caster, or I need perfect precision casting, like I'm at the Delta, and I need to cast below trees and docks. I can take a spinning rod and skip it 10 times better than a bait caster. And that's just me. And I'll tell that to this day, that's me. So, we're all different. That's at the end of the day, is do whatever works for you. See, that's the cool thing, is just like parenting, there's no one right way, right? And there's millions of people on earth, millions of parents, and like, look how different we all are. And if everybody tried the same way, we still wouldn't all come out the same, right? So it's like we're different. I think fishing is the same way in a sense, although fish aren't smart, they're not humans. But I mean, you're not going to go out there and just, it has to be this way. Like, you can go out there and catch fish so many different ways. That's the cool thing about fishing, and then sharing. That's why a lot of fishermen are tightwads with what really works, or they're a little deceptive. Because if they truly gave all their information, after a little bit of time, most of the audience or people wouldn't need them. They'll listen, they'll absorb it, and away they go. Like, thanks, boss, and now they're better than you, or doing just as good, right? But that's not the idea. That's like tournament fishing, right? And guys are really guarding their secrets and guarding their spots and this and that. And that's not how I like. I like fishing to be a fun. I want people to catch fish, because it's a struggle. The struggle is real sometimes out there. So we all have our own ways, you know what I mean? So I'll try though, Danny's Kitchen. Yeah, man, it helped a lot. Switched to all over to lefty, and damn, way better for me. I had no coordination with holding rod with left and trying to reel towards turns with right hand. Yeah, I'll try it out. I know that I'll probably, before I put the left hand bait caster, I'll probably need to reel and hold a right hand, or a lefty, a spinning rod for a little bit, and get all juiced and familiar with that, and then switch real quick, and then see if I can time that. I don't know if it's the double handle, or if it's like the way that I'm holding it. It just doesn't. I don't know. The bulk of the reel, something about it, the way that you turn it, the bearing, I don't know. Maybe it's the quality, so maybe I'll do it with a good quality reel. And my buddy Jay's got a lot of left-handy stuff I could try it with. We'll see how it goes. I'll report back to you guys. Just like I actually made a lot of improvements with my jig fishing by doing two things. So if you don't fish in weeds or wood, and you fish open lakes like McClure, Pedro, and New Melones, but New Melones does have wood if it's low enough, So you ain't scratch that for Maloney's. It kind of just depends. But anyways, if you're fishing a rocky, dirty, sandy, if you're fishing a lake that just doesn't have a ton of vegetation and wood in it, then open face jig is the way to go for you. That's my suggestion. That's what I do. I use no weed guard at all, no weed guard whatsoever. I get jigs made with no weed guard, so it's like a giant Ned rig, right, with a skirt, football head, my preferred go-to, and with the little, whatever trailer to match it. And I just started setting the hook less hard because I used no weed guard. I'd set the hook so hard I'd tear these giant holes in the fish's mouth. And then when the fish would shake and jump, I'd lose them all the time. And the other thing I was doing is when they were coming up to jump, I was leaning back like this, trying to put pressure on them, which is that was not good. I needed to lean forward and reel towards them. And went from like a 40% landing ratio to about a 95% landing ratio. So pretty cool. So as I learn, I'll make sure I share what works with you guys, at least for me. That way, trying to bring everybody up to speed on whatever is working or not working. And we all catch fish different ways. So, and this is the good old World Wide Web too, the internet. So in some instances, in some states or other areas might be fishing a little different than others, just depends. I did spend time in Florida, New Mexico, and a couple other places fishing, and they were very similar to here. I just threw topwater or Cincos, and I destroyed them in Florida and did pretty good on drop shots and some Ned rigs and stuff in New Mexico on a real tough day. So had fun. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. TGIF, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys have a great weekend. So thanks for supporting and watching the live stream. If you guys have any questions, fire them away. You know how we do. Having a good time. So last week's show, or not last week's, we had Wednesday show with members only. So to my members out there, thank you very much. That's why we do stuff like that for you guys. And I'm thinking about we're growing, okay. So what I'm thinking about doing also is pumping out a video just for you members and then not releasing it public. So see how that goes. We'll start it where we'll maybe release it to the top tier guys, and then we'll drop it down to all members. But I appreciate you guys. So one of these trips, I'm going to go have a great time, go stick a lot of fish, and make sure you guys are the only ones that see it. So we'll make sure we do that at least once a month. Wacky rig is definitely a great way to catch fish, buddy. So I love a Texas rig when I'm fishing in weeds. Wacky rig is great for me in open water. So I have my likes and dislikes with each version. It just depends. Because with the Texas rig, you got to set the hook kind of harder, or if you don't stick a lot of your fish. And also, I've snapped a lot of big fish and decent, even small fish off, just viciously setting the hook. I fish on both. I'll tell you what, some of my best topwater days are bluebird sky days. And then I've had great topwater days on overcast. So what I do, it's two things. Is one, you never know until you test the waters. So sometimes you'd be sitting out there, bluebird skies, 100 degrees, and you're looking around you, and there's not a ripple on the lake. And you toss your topwater out there, and it just starts getting exploded on. Because if the water's real clear, these fish can see from like miles down there, right? So if there's any fish around and you make a few casts and you do it just right, you'll pull them up and get them interested, and then they'll come up and strike, and then they'll all start coming up, and you can actually create reactions. They'll turn off, and you can turn them right back on. So I've had 100 fish days at Lake McClure and stuff like that by throwing things like top water, jerk baits and stuff like that, crank baits, all up in the top water column. So in the middle of the day, bluebird skies. Then if okay, and so I've got a lot. I've got 270 fishing videos. So for those of you guys who are kind of new to the channel, or you've seen the last year or 6 months worth, I've got a year and a half now about in here on the channel, and I've got 200, almost 300 fishing videos. So there's a couple that I've got out on like Lake McClure. There's a couple at New Maloney's where it's overcast and raining, and we're just murdering them on top water and A rigs, and then like all kinds of stuff. Just having a blast, great time, having so much fun, and so top water can really be key at a lot of different times, more than a lot of people realize. So don't rule out high noon top water, and don't rule out uh, low light, sunset, sunrise, or nighttime top water is magical. Nighttime topwater is a good way to get big fish. If you guys get a chance while you're watching, smash that like button if you can. Help the algorithm maybe, or help YouTube share the video, and maybe some other people get brought to the channel, and we grow our little community one by one. The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah. Hurrah. We're getting there a little bit at a time, right? I'm thinking instead of having a lofty goal for my next giveaway, we might just do it at 1,500, because we've been going up and down a little bit, but we've been steadily marching towards it, and we're about to hit that, and I think we'll stay there. So with that in mind, I think we'll maybe have our next one either at 15, or we'll do something like that, because I want to say thank you to everybody. So we'll see about it. I don't want to make any promises, but you guys are awesome. Do I take anyone fishing if they donate a toy? Yeah, brother, that's how it works. But the thing is it's not just like a toy. I ask basically what people do is to donate a minimum of like $100 or like 50 to $100 worth of toys. Like go to Walmart, Target, wherever, because the gas on an average fishing trip for the truck is, to fill my truck is like 80 to 100 bucks easy, and I can only go on like 1.5, maybe 2 trips in my truck, right? It sucks gas. So you think it's about $40 per trip in the truck, and then you burn about $20-$30 in the boat. So it's a $70-$80 cost to me. So what happens is like it's basically, so I charge about what it costs to go out. So I don't make any money. So I don't make any money out of this. And then what I do is I take all that and I buy toys with it. If people give me the money, if people buy the toys, great, I take the toys. But the idea is that way, it's the everything. It's like I'm paying for the trip, and then everything goes towards the toys that way. So last year we took care of 200 kids for Christmas, and we made a video called Fishmas 2020. It's in my history. You can see it. It's one of my videos. It's still uploaded. It says Fishmas 2020. Try to watch this without crying, something like that. It's a pretty cool video. It's about 45 minutes long. It introduces you to about 18 of the people who donated. I want to say 16 to 18 of the people who donated, and takes you on a trip down memory lane to see a few minutes of each of their fishing trips and catches, and then shows us wrapping presents and this and that. So it's pretty cool. So if you guys are interested, that's in my history. It's called Fishmas 2020. And that's what I'm hoping this year is going to be like, but maybe 2 or 3 times bigger. So you guys are awesome. It wouldn't have happened without your guys's, without the Facebook community, without Bass Fishing Lovers, Tug Addicts Association, and shout out to guys on 209 and Central Valley Bass Fishing too. A lot of those guys, NorCal Bass Fishing, Facebook groups helped out, and then this YouTube channel. And with all of our, support together, we took care of Christmas for over 200 kids. So I couldn't say that enough. Super stoked. Now, let's get back to fishing. So anyways, Sorry, folks. Go ahead and ask a question if you guys want. Looks like we might have another prize pack available to the pool. Looks like Jay Fever wants to donate some frogs and some thunder crickets or some jigs, some thunder crickets. So some frogs and some chatterbaits basically to the raffle. So that's pretty sweet. So thank you, Jay Fever. So a good friend of mine. Known him for like 30 years. So you guys are awesome though. Appreciate you guys on this channel. That's why I love hanging out, having fun, smashing beers, talking ish, having a good time. TGIF, double fisted. Thank God it's Friday. Leave your guys' comments below. What are your plans for this weekend? Let me know in the comments below. What are you guys going to do for the weekend? And, any fun stuff? Otherwise, because I'm going to be working this weekend still. You guys don't want to hear about my plans. Woohoo! Oh, and by the way, too, I think I said this earlier. We got the reels are on the way, ordered. They'll be here Monday, so I'll probably be dropping one off at a guy's house. The other one I'm going to have to ship. He's from West Virginia. So we had two winners win lately here on the channel, and we also had Jeff Garcia, who's a member. We had him win one of my random giveaways. We gave him one of my green screen items, which is an autographed rookie Giants player, the Asian guy. I don't know if he's still with the Giants or if he's with the Baltimore now. I was thinking about the football team. Goodness. I don't remember. I'll have to look it up and check. But, it's hard to remember all the stats on everybody, right? It's crazy. Going to O'Neill Forbay tomorrow for striped bass, and I'm going to try for bass. Heck yeah. Oh, yeah. Woo! That's how he does it, too, though. He does the four horsemen. He goes like this. Woo! All right, you guys got me. I'll give you a Ric Flair. I love Ric Flair. Woo! Used to get down. Smash that like button for me. You guys get a chug-a-bug love from Ric Flair. Here we go. Smashed it like Stone Cold. Woo! Handle it like Ric Flair. Yeah, baby. We get down. How are you doing? For those of you, imagine we got to start a podcast, right? Do this on Spotify or something for the people that would be like listening to this and not watching it. Well, I can imagine like I've heard some of my supporters, or what they'll do is they'll leave the live stream on and they'll like clean or they'll do something where they can still watch it or hear it. So I'm imagining some of it's got to sound pretty funny if you don't see what's going on. Hell, even if you do see what's going on, try to be a little funny, right? Entertaining at least. Gonna try to use a buzz bait for them big bass. I gotta get buzzed bait. If you have enough beers out there, you can catch a buzz bait. And in all honesty, though, be safe out there. I don't know if you heard, Kyle, about what was it? The guy that died at New Maloney's the other day. So, that sucks. Yep. And a Macho Man. Oh, yeah, brother. Hold on. Now I went Hulkamania. I keep wanting to do brother. It's like the Hulk and Macho are like the same dude. but like different versions of each other. So you like when I try going into one, I'll do one perfectly and then I'll slip into the other one and I'll have imperfect, then I'll accidentally slip into the other one. It's like, oh, brother, I've done the need to take a dump, I guess, right now. That's all you need to do. Turn purple and shake really hard and then ooh, just sound like that. That's Macho Man. But when you say brother, right? Had a rough day on the lake, then caught a Sally loading the boat up. Hey, RC, how's it going? Man, sad you had a rough day on the lake, but I'm glad to see you, safe home and here on the live stream hanging out with us. So glad that you're still alive. And, sucks that, the lake part went bad, but hopefully everything else from that point went on pretty good. Got a lot going on here. I'm back. I realize that as I get older, I can't multitask. Got a lot going on, huh? Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I appreciate everybody here. So I know it's hard to hang out for 2 hours straight, too, right? It's because people have lives, they have things going on. So this is out there so you can watch this at a later time. They don't all go members only. Those are usually only when Casper shows up or we drop too many F-bombs or we go down too many rabbit holes. And I'm like, oh, okay, I don't want any YouTube overlords here in this one. So we put it in the memory hole in the members only section. So the members can go back and laugh and be like, this guy a fool. You know what I mean? So we have a good time here. Okay, let's see here. Going on my yak. Hopefully don't get ran over by a dumb guy in a jet ski. One time I almost got hit because I caught a fish and he wanted to look at it and he didn't even slow down. Oh, that's messed up. I was reading that so wrong at first, brother. I'm going to be very honest with you, RC. I'm sitting there in my head reading, my home lake is booty. And I just stopped. And I'm just like, chicka, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, wow, wow, chicka, dum, dum, chicka, dum. And then I'm like, we're talking about fish, huh? I'm like, oh, and then two fish. And then I'm like, oh, and then it's all making sense now. And I'm like, wow. Then the music like stops, Oh, that was way too funny. Oh, smash that like button if you get a chance for that one. Four-bay fun for stripers, Kyle. You go to SLR 2 on the yak. San Luis Reservoir. Be careful. That's all I can say. Oh, at the Louis, you better be careful in a yak, my friends. I strongly recommend being very careful out there. Having waders and learning how to fish from shore is really fun out there because it's so shallow. You can walk out a lot in a lot of areas and cast a mile. And you use those top water plugs. The big old stripers come up. I can't wait, man. I should go do that. When I was a kid, we snuck across the back of was a checkpoint 12 or whatever it is, 13 or 12 or whatever, and you walk across the little thing and you go back and there's this big cove and it's super shallow and we'd strip down to our boxers and we'd walk out into the water till the water was about right here and it would be in the summer or something like that. Yeah, we'd get them all day. We'd bomb these big old pencil popper baits and doosh, 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 and we'd be using like 20, 30-pound like fluoro or mono or something like that, and just doosh, 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 and then you just big old stripers, boosh, we catching 20, 30-pound stripers. It was so crazy. And I remember one day everybody was catching 10, 15-pound stripers, and I couldn't for the life of me catch one. Every striper I kept getting on was like 30, 40 pounds almost. They were huge. They were 3 plus 4 feet long mondos. I'd get them close, they'd go, and I'd never had all my stuff right. I had a couple that straightened my hook. I had one spool me, took all my line off, popped off the reel, gone. Never got it back. Had to retie that day. Was sitting there re-spooled up. Man, we had such an adventure. We went out there at the end of the freaking day. I got one that was about 15 pounds. I was so pissed off. Dude, my homies are catching 10 pounders, 15 and 20, 25 pounders. Nobody had a 30 yet. And I had lost like five. They were easily, you could tell, like my buddies were landing 25 pounders. You could tell the ones I were having on were bigger than them. And they were laughing at me. It get me all flustered, like, just wanted to. Not today, J Car. Keep in tune. We will have one soon, though, for you, buddy. You know it. We just had one. I don't know. Were you there when we gave this? We just gave this away to Jeff. I think you were there that night. It was the last live stream. We had one for you guys. Gotta go see Samson. Be right back in 20 minutes. Ooh, you're gonna have some of that Casper. Better be careful. Better share it. 4:05. So, how's it going, Steven? Steven in the house. Yep, gets very windy out at the San Luis Reservoir. So, one thing I would recommend is don't risk dying on the San Luis Reservoir or the O'Neill Forebay. They are monstrous. They both have massive waves. So just be careful in your kayak out there. Always let someone know where you're fishing and when you plan on being home. That way, if you don't come home on time, someone look for you, because those are not very fun lakes to get, set adrift on, or hit the wrong shore, or just get capsized under, because then those waves are nasty there. So a lot of people have died at those two lakes. So be careful out there. That's why I don't take my bass boat out there very often. I'm just chicken shy, to be honest. So the San Luis just gets way too big. O'Neill Forebay is pretty nasty too, but I mean, I've handled the Delta 5-6 foot rollers in Clear Lake, so now I feel a lot better. Probably time to take my boat out there and go have some fun. Just not for the inexperienced, and if your boat don't sit right in the waves, and then you can go from like a calm day to 4 or 5 foot waves real quick. So that's why I'd also recommend not ever venturing too far from shore. So at least cruise the shoreline. I'm down by the ocean. We're down by the beach. If I wasn't, why would I be wearing this hat? Boy! I gotta talk to Samson. You know what's up. Nasty Nate in his naughty jungle of love, right? Oh, that movie's super funny. Your boat don't take the swell well. Mine don't either. My old one. My new one does. Shit. My old boat, nope. Nope. Take water over the freaking bow every time. My new boat like doesn't seem to want to go under. It's like Superman. It just rides these big ass waves. Like, I'm like, well, okay. Yep. Good, dude. As long as you know, I'm not trying to like be Mr. Buzzkill. You know what I'm saying? Just be careful out there. That's all I'm saying. It's such a great place. I love that place. And it's a great place, get out on the yak, get out in a tin can. Even the little tin cans can get flipped out there. So, but that's a great place just to get out on the water. Because one of the things, that was real tough is if you're shore fishing, it seems like those bastards boil and bust right outside of your casting distance. Like, you evil bastards. You can see them too. Monster stripers. You're just like, and you're just like, you cast and your cast's like 30 feet short. You're like, no. So we were at this one spot when they were in this like cove just smashing bait for a while, where we would walk out, like I said, to the water was like here. So that's one of the cool things about there this time of year, nice and warm. You can go out there and just get right in the water if you have to. Just, it's the windy days. You got to watch out for the wind. So that's all. Yeah, my scariest trip ever was probably Clear Lake. in my old boat that you guys never seen that is in one video or two videos of mine. My very, 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 very first bass boat, my Champion, is viewable in some of my very oldest footage that I put together to make some montages when I first created my YouTube channel. Do you guys know I have a video of about a 10 to 12 pound bass that almost eats a 2 pound bass that I'm fighting? And I'd never seen it or knew it until 7 years later. I'm processing the video now for my YouTube channel, right? And I'm putting the video together. And at the time, this was 7 years ago when I wasn't really I was recording for GoPro and I wanted to start my YouTube channel, and someone stole my GoPro, and I got all brokenhearted and I never did my channel anymore. But I had multiple SD cards, and I had on video not double digits, but I had 8 and 9 pounders on video at the Delta, crankbait and top. I had some good footage, but my best SD card with my best footage from the Delta was in my camera when it got stolen. So, anyways, I had some footage of New Maloney's. I had some footage of the Delta, and I put it together and I made like a couple of videos when I very first started my YouTube channel. So some of my very first videos, if you actually look, they're before I got my boat. They're actually 7 years old. And like I said, I've got a video where you can see, and I'll tell you guys if you guys want to go check it out after the live stream. It's called Bass Fishing Extravaganza. And at about the 1 minute and 40 something mark or something like that, you see me fighting a bass, and I'm bringing it in towards the corner of I'm in an aluminum boat this time, actually, a different boat. And you can see the eyes and the mouth and the triangle of the head. And you can see this massive bass come at my fish that I'm fighting and then turn away at the last minute. And it's easy, like a 12, maybe a 14. I don't know. It's a double digit monster. It's freaking ginormous huge. Like, holy shit. Like that big. It's massive. So it's pretty cool. I didn't even know it. 7 years I'm sitting on this footage, and I never even knew it. So, and the crazy thing is, when I release it, I don't even have any viewers yet, right? So I'm probably sitting at like a couple hundred subscribers. So that video's got like 1,000 views or something. But it's crazy. Oh yeah. Oh, I've had freaking KBR beat the shit out of me in my boat where I'm like, I realize my trolling motor battery's starting to go dead, and I'm on full blast, and I notice my boat going backwards. I'm like, oh, gotta get on the engine. Boom, time to go home. That place gets crazy. So, yeah. I love that little place, but you know what? It's not worth 2,500. If I was catching 8 pounders regularly for my footage, if I could show you guys double digits, if I could catch 8 to 10 pound bass out of there every couple of days, that place would definitely be worth what it is. But I'm only, it's full of 3 and 4 pound bass because there was never any is a catch and release. They don't ever cull the population, so there's overpopulated of small bass. And the small bass eat all the dragonfly, eat all the baby bluegill, they eat all the baby bass, they eat all the forage up so that the big bass starve. And once they grow to a certain level, it's like they stop growing there at about 5, 6 pounds, 7 pounds. They become almost impossible to catch there. And I've seen them; they're still there. I've caught a 9 pounder there, but they need to cull the herd, dude. So, plus I'm broke. I wish I could, but I don't have 2,500 to justify catching 3 and 4 pounders when I'm catching double digits out of the main lakes and having fun at the Delta catching 3 and 4 pounders. So it's like, well, oh hell yeah. I don't know what it is, but I know that there were days at the Delta where I had 30-pound bags. I've had 25 and 30-pound bags left and right at the Delta. I've had days where you get probably two eights, a seven, a couple two, three sixes, a couple fives, and then a bunch of threes and twos. And it was rare you get a little dink here and there. It seems like the fish, the uh, I don't know if the sea lion are eating them or if what they're doing is they're moving into the river systems. If they're I don't know what's going on, if the bass are moving up into the river arms or if they move at the Delta a lot. I think what it is just a lot of guys aren't on the big fish, and they go in massive schools, and guys fish certain areas, right? Like, and then what happens is the bass normally have a behavior that we assume that they're going to follow, and I think during drought years, I think the bass break a lot of those behaviors and norms, and I think they do things based on their instincts, knowing. I think fish are smarter than we give them credit for instinctually, right? I think that they know without being out of water and this and that. I don't think they measure rain or anything. I think they know when there's a drought here. I don't know how, but I think they understand, when lake levels change certain things. And McClure is the perfect example of when a lake just almost shuts down or goes brutal, and then also it can kick out fire. And it's the same lake, nothing's much changed. It's just whether it's a drought year or a flood year, and or a year before a drought year before a flood year, or year after. It's in that recent switch from one to the other. I think it plays a big factor in it, and I think everything here in California. I've been here all my life, right? But I've been bass fishing 30 years. Now in California, our weather system has the La Nina El Nino pattern. Basically, and sometimes it gets much worse one way or the other, right? Where we're supposed to have almost like 4 years of rain, 4 years of drought, 4 years of rain, 4 years of drought, 4 years of rain, 4 years of drought. And I think that people will base things because they'll remember 6 years ago when you were in the middle of 4 years of rain. And now here you are 6 years later, and you're in the middle of 4 years of drought. 4 years of drought. And then you're fucked, right? 4 years of drought. You're in the middle of 4 years of drought, right? I caught myself doing that. I thought it was the funniest shit ever, so I had to do it a couple times. My bad. I'm a pervert. But anyways, I think a lot of what we do is we either undersimplify it or overcomplicate sometimes things. It just, you know, I think it's, in my opinion, I think the drought and the rain years, I think the El Nino La Nina plays a big factor, and I think also being that we usually go through when we go through a drought, we don't usually go rain, drought, rain, drought. We usually go drought, 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 rain, 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 rain. Right? We go through a few years of each. So when that happens, I think these fish go into different patterns and different ways of behaving slightly, not all the way, but I've noticed changes in our lakes throughout the years. And also I would, and the Delta, and I would say, excuse me, some of it is our change in our weather patterns. And I would think some of it too is more bass fishermen too. We got way more bass fishermen on the scene in the last 10 years than we had. I mean, just it exponentially been blowing up. Bass fishing was this big deal in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, right? And it's just been getting bigger and bigger each generation. Now the 90s, right? I was a bass fishing 90s kid, right? Bill Dance, Roland Martin, all that stuff, right? And so, you know, now you got the 2000s and 2010s, right, and the 2020s, and fishing is always seeming to evolve and change. But I think the technology, graphs, technology, the internet, and these people getting into fishing when they're 3 years old, and then fishing with bait casters, fishing with graphs is creating a whole nother level of fishermen for one. And two, I think the game is getting changed by these fishermen. I think the pressure that massive amounts of fishing, tournaments, even low level fishermen constantly pounding the shores. I think all these lakes are getting raped every weekend. They're getting fished, sometimes multiple different clubs. Uh, then you have even middle of the week tournaments occasionally, but you get a lot of fishermen pounding these lakes just incessantly over and over. And by the numbers that were never done before, I think that factors into it too. There is a lot to it. I don't think it's just as simple as one thing or the other. I don't, in my opinion, I don't think much in life is simple like that. I think even when you're in, let's just say, like you're you make a mistake and you do something dumb in life. You did this one thing that was a mistake, that was dumb, but there were probably many things that mirrored or created or were factors in why you chose that course, particular course of action, than many other hundreds of other possible outcomes, right? Millions of possible realities, right? So uh, life is never just that simple, and I don't think fishing is either. Usually, sometimes I think sometimes we overcomplicate it too, and it is just simple, black and white, right? Up and down, left and right. But um, I think, figuring out, that's the ultimate question, ain't it? Right? Which one is it? Sometimes life seems simple, and then sometimes it's like, I don't think it's that easy. You know, I don't know. What do you call it? Circular. Oh, it's like a circular argument. You're arguing against yourself. Would you be okay if lakes went to boat limits per day on lakes to control pressure? A lot of them do that. I don't know if it needs to do that. I think what'll happen is, I think just like a lot of things, it'll be things will come and go. There'll be fads. There'll be phases. I think I think to an extent with the type of technology, we're going to get to a point where it's going to be like enjoy it or you don't. And I don't know. I have another channel, Common Sense Talks, where I go over all kinds of crap, not just fishing. Well, actually, not fishing really. We'll talk a little bit there, but it's mostly other stuff. And I on that channel I talk about, I think there's like a recession or a crash coming. And when that happens, I don't think there'll be much fishing. There'll be guys still fishing, but there'll be a lot less of it. You got to think all of this stuff ties into, like, when there's a lot of extra money floating around in the economy and tax returns, and guys can go buy their little cheap used boats, right? But with the inflation, with everything, like the used car prices have gone up, used boat prices have gone up, so it's going to become harder to buy one. And then as things get older, break. I mean, I don't know. I just see if there's a crash, as people have to get serious with other things in life. You know, as things come and go in waves, there'll always be the hardcore super dedicates. But I don't know. I just have a feeling that life will work its way out one way or another. I don't know. I think financially, Americans in the world, we've been doing better than we ever have in our whole history too. So like, more people own boats now than they did in the 80s or 90s, because we just have a lot more wealth, I'd say, and more technology, and kayaks, aluminum boats. Hell, there's still a ton of shore fishermen. So, I mean, it's a very popular sport. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think boat traffic might lessen up a little bit. But you know what would really help is probably creating more water storage, creating more lakes. I'm not 100% sure if that would help, but also creating more public fisheries or public lakes or public access fishing in lowland and urban areas too. Building man made lakes and ponds and structures for kids to fish in, to invest in our communities. I think that would be great. Instead, like, that would also help take some of the pressure off the lakes. I mean, right? if you're a politician or if you care about your city and your people, right? You want to keep your people off of drugs. You want to keep your people out of gangs, off the streets. You want to keep people out of trouble, right? Instead of going around with police and arresting people and be like, "Oh, you can't smoke no weed," or "Brr, you're not supposed to jaywalk," or we need police for the real stuff, right? Like bad crimes and then bank robbers and this and that. But my point is if we were to take our youth, that idle hands are the devil's playground, right? And we were to take money and invest it in local fishing parks and fishing places that are like literally dedicated for fishing for our urban areas too, for our cities, for even our small medium cities, for people that can't get to the countryside. I think if we had projects or money spent on fishing for the youth and fishing for uh, people in school. If each high school had a pond on it with a freaking with fishing and a fishing club, I mean, think about what that would do to our youth, to our future. I mean, not everyone would have to, but I mean, just think about if we spend our money on things like that instead of just other stuff, right? All this the stuff our government wastes money on. And then I think by that alone, you have a lot more kids interested in fishing. Dads would be able to take their kids fishing to these local places instead of needing to buy a $40,000 bass boat to take their all they want to do. Father wants to fish with his son or daughter or kids, right? And what he has to do now, he goes out, he buys a boat because they don't want to shore fish, or they start shore fishing. Shore fishing sucks. The kids get mad. They don't want to fish. So you want to get a boat, you get your truck to pull it. Where really all you want to do is have time with your family, right? There's a lot of like weekend warriors out there, family fishermen. I think it would be all around perfect for everybody. Take pressure off the lakes. If there were, and then it would be cool. Like I wouldn't need to always take my boat out to the lakes. How I'd go into town and fish the local trout farm or bass farm. And then if we had proper fish management, we pay all this money for our fishing license. We buy all these damn lures. We pay all these taxes, and all we do is we fund game wardens that go around and harass people for not fishing with their life. I understand we need them, and there's guys poaching and doing all kinds of shit. But why can't we invest this money that we spend on these licenses and all this crap to do stuff like this? Water projects, for stuff like that. So, anyways, that's where I think would be the best outcome in the future. More water storage, so build a few more dams, create a few more lakes, and then urban fisheries. Create or take out of some of these canal or farm water that gets wasted every year, and on public property or land, or buy some cheap stuff for it. If we invested in money like that, it was safe. Make it shallow, or make like, not necessarily like a lifeguard. Not you're supposed to swim in it, but things that basically take the city out of where they don't, no liability if someone drowns in it, yada yada. You think this stuff through. But if we had invested our money in crap like that, our kids would be in a much better future. So, anyways, let's read some comments here. Fly to the moon, like, okay, I think we were past that. Have you felt the Daiwa Fuego CT casting reels? It's one of the smoothest $100 reel, in my opinion. I think I do have a Daiwa Fuego, or I've used one before. I have two Daiwas. I don't remember what Daiwa. I know I have a really good one. I think is more than 100. And then I have one that's maybe 60 or so. So I don't know if it's the Fuego, but I know I've held someone's, either that Virgil or somebody has told me that. And because my son won a Daiwa, like a $200 one from the Future Pro Tour one time. It was awesome. So it's still his reel, but I sneak it and I use it sometimes. I think the quarantine brought a lot of fishing pressure, and people had nothing better to do but outdoor stuff. That's right. Quick question: what's the best size and brand hook for drop shot? Absolutely, California needs more reservoirs. They built most of these lakes when California had half the population. That's right. High schools and other states have fishing teams stuff. I wish we had that in California. Exactly. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Spend money on our high school students, get them involved with fishing, get them involved early, all races, groups, ages, sexes, get everybody out there, junior high even, as long as they're ready and old enough and you can get a waiver signed by the parents, set them up, man. Junior high and above, like camp, fishing camp, stuff like that. But we got Camp Green Meadows that we subsidize. We got all this other stuff. But why can't we put a something that teaches our youth how to feed themselves in an emergency, for one? That's real important. And two, do something that gets them in the outdoors, out of the house, gets them in a fresh, healthy environment, and is good for their soul well-being and their mental health, their well-being. It's just so important, fishing is, in my opinion, and that's why I think instead of us all going to the lakes, if we had multiple outlets, right? If we had ponds, if we had fisheries in urban areas too, if we had money that was invested on that stuff, I just think it'd be a lot better. Now let's answer. We got a quick question. What's the best size and brand hook for drop shot? All right, so you got a couple of different ones. There's some really high-end, really expensive ones. There's the VMCs. There's like spin shots are really, really good so you don't get line twist. I highly recommend, first of all, a spin shot. There's VMC spin shots. There's, I think, Sure-Lock or something like that, or Sure Grip or something like that. There's a bunch of different ones, but first of all, a spin shot helps because then you don't get line twist, because the way your drop shot's set up, no matter what, you're going to get a lot of twisting. And if you don't have a spin shot hook, then you're going to get a ton of twist in your line, and it will show eventually. It'll backlash your spinning rod. It can happen, cause loops in your line when you're trying to cast it and reel it in. So a spin shot is good. Now, what size hook? I have found over the years that the smaller the hook, the better. My buddy will use a hook that's something like this. I tend to use a slightly bigger hook. I don't know if it's the 1/0, but I recommend that you use the smallest size hook possible with the drop shot. Actually, the bigger the hook, the more problems I've seen to have with hooking them and keeping them hooked. As long as your drag is set, it's not even about piercing all the way. The little hook just grips, and then it just gets stuck. And then even when the fish jumps, that little hook don't move. So I've seen them catch some big ass fish with tiny little trout hook. Now, I myself prefer a little bit bigger than that. So, but one recommendation would start and use probably the smallest hook that you feel comfortable with. But my biggest tip would be try to make sure it's a spin shot so you help avoid line twist. All right. Now, I think you're right about the quarantine bringing a lot of fishing pressure. People didn't have nothing better to do. And then, you get an infusion of tax return and stimulus money right before inflation, where a lot of things weren't quite super expensive yet. A lot of people bought cheap used boats too. So there was a lot of will to want to get out of the house during the quarantine. It was like people were just desperate to get out after being locked in. So that was a big deal of it too. But I think fishing has really been blowing up the last 5 or 10 years before the quarantine even. It's just with technology, with the internet, with people realizing they can make money fishing by selling lures, by marketing. And then one of the worst things I think that's happening to fishing nowadays that fucking pisses me off, I'm going to say it like that. This isn't going to go members only, but it ain't going to get monetized. That's why it really helps when you guys do become members, help fund the channel, help it grow, stuff like that. So I appreciate all my members, plus just all my subscribers. You guys are awesome. YouTube don't pay a lot, but the members here, they specifically fund a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do. At least it helps a lot to at least see some help coming in. So anyways, where was I going with that shit? I was super pissed for a second. I was thinking about something. Someone remind me where I was at, if you guys don't mind. I know I was going on a good rant about something. Yeah, oh well, maybe not. I know I was ranting about something. I just forgot what. Shit, said burnout. It's getting late, so and I'm already on like my fourth beer, so it's showing. Sorry about that. Oh goodness. I forgot what the hell was I gonna say though. It was something. Man, goodness, see? What's ruined fishing? Oh yeah, thank you. Women and thirsty men. Here's the deal. Don't get me wrong. Women fishing, you guys are awesome. What ruins women fishing is when they go out and they get all sexy and they put the little leg and big ass titties and their little tighty tight pants, and then all the thirsty dumbass like you could be this one chick that's got zero fishing skills and your man's probably catching your fish for you. Or even if you caught it, you caught one fish, you didn't put no work in, you got a 500,000 followers because you got big tits and an ass. I mean, that is just it's like the thoughts and like all the shit with like everything else. It's like, don't infect my fishing. I don't want to see duck face. Like, I start getting all like freaking caveman out about it. You know what I mean? Like, damn it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I get frustrated thinking about that shit. Like, it's ruining fishing right now, in my opinion. Not like 100%, but I hate getting online and it's every like upcoming. You'll see like the chick with the tighty tights, everything, and trying to throw a snatch shot where you can see camel toe damn near, and she's got 500,000 likes on the damn picture, and it's like when it's a random nobody, she's just really cute. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. It's like Brian Latimer and other dudes, Hackney and Skeet Reese. You got all these dudes that can earn your respect and should have all these likes and views, or even people like me trying to do good for people, right? But just with some tits and ass, and you got guys falling all over themselves. You know what I mean? But won't like a won't hit the like button for somebody trying to genuinely give them some tips or tricks. And yet, so anyways, I don't know. Social media, the women getting into fishing is a bit frustrating. I don't know. So anyways, so thanks for the answer. We'll utilize as soon as I get to go in the water. Yep. Hey, bro, I'm going to have to bounce out. Have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. Man, I went on a little rant right there, but my bad. You know how we get here at Common Sense Fishing. Have a bunch of fun. I keep it 100%. I tell it how it is. But hey, I am who I am. I'm a good dude. I don't, I'm not sexist or anything. I think women in fishing is great. It's the sexualization of fishing that just frustrates me. It's like, oh man, don't get me wrong, women are hot. It's like super awesome, but I don't want to have a raging boner fishing. It's like that's not what I'm like. That's not the point of fishing, It's not like that's like, damn it, keep that away. So, anyways, I don't know. That's my. I'll close. We're going to be getting off here in 10 minutes. So before we roll for the end of the night, I'll leave the floor open to you guys. I'll quit my rant and my topics with it. We'll leave it at that. But so how about you guys? TGIF, thanks for watching. Hope your guys' weekend is great. Having a good time here on these live streams. So I really appreciate all you guys. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, any questions you want to ask, any topics, I'm here. Floor is open. It's all open to you guys and gals. Again, I try to say that. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Otherwise, like I said, about 9 o'clock, we're going to get off here. So. It's summer when you see me in the flip flops. I don't like wearing flip flops, but I got them now. Like plap, 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 plap. Good old chunkalas or however you want to call them. I know some guys are Croc guys, right? They're just like Crocs because they're kind of like flip flops or like water shoes, but like your feet can breathe and all this and that. So I don't know. I should probably try them. I don't know. Maybe I'd be a crack dude. Who knows? I just know it goes from wearing shoes to then no shoes or flip flops. I'm Native American, right? So I'm dressed or I'm like stripping clothes off, wanting to just be in my t-shirt. I'm not even tan this year. Look at my hand up here. This is all white. You can tell I didn't get a lot of sun this year up here. But all of this, oh yeah. Anyways, really appreciate you guys. So thanks for sticking around, hanging out, watching the live stream. You guys are awesome. So we're going to get off. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. As always, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we do these live streams. So catch you guys on Monday. And I might see you guys on the weekend. We'll see how it goes. But I think Father's Day is coming up. So hope you guys have a happy Father's Day. Enjoy your time with your families. Make sure you guys have a safe one. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next adventure.